Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to part 3 of this React Native tutorial where we build a podcast application. So in the last episode we did stop right there where we have the search screen where we do have the podcast style and stuff like that. Everything was mock, but today we're gonna plug Apollo Graphql. So if you go to the website Apollo Graphql, if you click on not platform, but if you click on docs, and you click on Apollo Client React right there, we're gonna follow finally how to start. It's gonna be pretty simple. We're gonna start with Apollo Boost. Maybe later we're gonna want to change, but for now it's gonna be good. So we're gonna just copy this line of code. So inside your terminal, just make sure you're gonna add those Apollo Boost, Apollo React Hook, and GraphQL. After that, just make sure also you have those kind of versions, so 3.1, 0.4, and 15.1. After that, this is how you create a client. But the way we're gonna build that for us is gonna be inside our SRC. We're gonna create a new folder called GraphQL. And inside that, we're gonna create a file called client.ts, so for TypeScript. And this is not a React component. We don't need the JSX, so we don't need to have the X. Like that. Now for the URL, that's gonna be the URL I'm gonna paste in the document in the description bottom. So you just put this URL plus at the end you append query. So this is the one where we built in the Golang tutorial, the last one before this one. So that was like a GraphQL layer on top of the iTunes API and stuff like that, where you can fetch those things. I think I showed you in one of the first episodes. And this thing where it came from a RSS. So this URL, so use it. The only thing it's, I didn't do any cache and stuff like that. iTunes, I think it's 20 calls by minute. So if you get any kind of error, it's maybe because someone else is doing the tutorial at the same time, so maybe you're gonna have some kind of issue, but I don't think we're gonna have that much. It's not like something we're gonna do money with that. So after that, we're gonna jump back on the app.tsx, and this is where we're gonna wrap with what Apollo asked us to do. So we need to wrap the Apollo provider like that. We need to wrap Apollo provider around everything. And I like to put that after my theme, like that. Here we need to pass a client, and that's gonna be the client, the one we just built. After that, everything should work. Nothing should have break, that's perfect. After that, we're gonna start to create our query. So inside the search here, we want to be able to search. So that's gonna be the first query. So if we go to the GraphQL here, I'm gonna create a new file inside this query folder, and that's gonna be called SearchQuery.tx. So I have this helper here where I can create a query. Just the difference, it's I need to one sec, just because I don't want to install this GraphQL tag, so like that. Okay. Search query. So inside the search query, I want to finally search with the term. Okay. I don't know why you get 2 space here. I want that to be 2 space. Don't know why. Let me reopen my search query. I'm gonna fix that. No worry. The thing is, with WebStorm, I have a tool called GraphQL here. I think you have almost the same in VS Code, but I'm not sure. The reason why I'm gonna use this tool, it's because it's gonna get the autocomplete for me, so I'm not gonna make any mistake. So I'm gonna copy that here. And the beauty of this, it's now if I click on the play, that's gonna create a file called schema.graphql in my root. And this is finally all the stuff we can fetch from our API. So finally, it's just everything from here. So for the schema right there, it's the same thing. And now by doing this, the beauty of this, it's now I can do the autocomplete. So you see, I need a term. So the term need to be a type of string. So here I can do term. So here it's going to be the variable. It's going to be a type of string, and this is required. After that, the thing I need here, it's going to be whatever data we want to show to the end user. So we're going to need the artist, episode count, feed URL, podcast name, thumbnail, and jar. And now it looks like it worked. I don't know why. Okay. Now, because we use TypeScript, I want to use a tool. And it's the Apollo tooling. So if you search for Apollo tooling, this thing, you need to install. For me, I installed it globally. You don't really need it, but you just do npm install.j Apollo. And after that, that gave us a CodeGen, okay? And CodeGen, it's a way for us to generate types from our GraphQL schema. And for doing this, I'm gonna just create this new script. So the name is gonna be CodeGen. Here we call Apollo, services, download. After that, here you put a variable called endpoint, where finally you just paste the endpoint we use. After that, I ask Apollo to CodeGen, and this thing, I want that to go to a file inside the SRC types folder called graphql.ts. And I want to make sure I include everything from the SRC where they have a TS file. And I also, it's really long, okay? So also want a local schema file called schema.json, output flag, output flat, and finally here we want to say which type of project we target, and this is a TypeScript one. Everything I show you there, it's something you can get from here. It just, I mean, it's a tutorial about building React Native app, not about learning this big stuff here. Now if I run that, we're gonna get an error. The first error we get, it's unexpected argument. Okay, so here looks like we have an error. And this is include right there. It's a S, it's include. So I'm gonna rerun the command. And now we get unexpected local schema. It's local schema file. Sorry about that. Okay, now we get an error called no such file or directory. Okay, so what happened is you need to create the directory types and the directory type, sorry, and inside that you create the file GraphQL TS. And now if you rerun it, oops, I say STC, that's why it's not STC, it's SRC. Okay, should be good now. Okay, it worked. And now that create the type from what we've done. That's perfect, because now we can use it. So now you're gonna see it's gonna be pretty simple. We jump on the search screen, and the first thing I want to do is I want to fix something. Okay, you see right there, I think it's this, it don't scroll anymore. It's because of my keyboard dismiss view. So I'm gonna remove this type, and now we are able to scroll. And then how we can remove the keyboard like that, it's by putting on the flag list, you can put keyboard dismiss mode. No, one sec, it's keyboard should persist that, and this is none. By doing this, you make sure that if you click on, one sec, I think it's never. Yeah, it's never. And now you see, if I click on the element, we are good. So we go back to where we are. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create a query, okay? So you start here, and this thing need to be a lazy query, okay? So use a lazy query. And the reason why is because we don't want to query when the component mount. If you use query, this is happening at the moment the component get mount. By doing use lazy query, you choose when you can use it. So now here that's going to be search query and search query variable, so we can get the autocomplete. So here that's going to be search query. After that here, the first element of this hooks, it's search. The second one is going to be the data, the loading, and the error. Okay. After that here, I'm going to create my onSearch function. That's going to be the one who's going to be called from the input. I'm going to just create a try catch. I don't even think we need a try catch because we're going to get the error from here, but I think it's just best practice. And now here we can search, finally. And inside the search here, we need to receive a term. So how can we get the term? By using a state. And now we use state with React Hook. It's pretty simple. You start with here an array, and you do use state. Here I'm gonna say it's gonna be a type of string. I'm gonna start with an empty string, and now you can give it a name and the way you want to modify this thing. So in the class component, you need to use this that set state, and you set state the state, etc. Now the beauty of this, it's the set term, just change the term himself. So if you have another state, that's gonna change the other one and stuff like that. And now that's why I really love it. It just make it so much more simpler. So you break down your object, you try to flat it down, and you make like a use state for almost all of them. After that here, what we do, it's here the text input, gonna have it on change text. Here we can say when you change the text, we can pass it the set term. We can also say autocorrect. I want it to be false. I don't want to get the autocorrect from iOS. On submitting, this is where we're gonna call the onSearch function. And yeah, and I just because I want to control this component, I'm gonna make a term as the value. Now after this, for the data right there, the way you can get the autocomplete from TypeScript, it's by doing search like that. So it's a generic. And now what that means, it's now you can pass the data right there of the search. Okay, and now by doing this, I'm gonna just make sure also it's an empty array if nothing is happening here. Now by doing this, we're gonna be able to get the search here and get the autocomplete from here. So you see here, now I get access to the item. And the item, because the flat list, finally, the way that works, it's flat list, here take a generic, take the item T, and now it's getting wrapped to the flat list prop. So what happened, it's the item here become the element we want. And now here, this is where we can finally start adding the real data, okay? So for the first one here, so for the subtitle, that's gonna be the item.artist. For the title here, that's gonna be item.podcast name. Here for the number of episode, we're gonna be able to use item.episode count. And here the box, so you see, I'm gonna search for Joe Rogan. And now if I click return, boom. Okay, we're gonna fix the error, don't worry. Now I want to fix this image. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this box and I'm gonna make use of the image component from React Native. And for the URI, I'm gonna use item.thumbnail. But the thing is, I don't know if you have seen, but the thumbnail can be null. So I'm gonna just make sure then this is only happening if we have a thumbnail. Now if I do this, we get an error, and this is about the key, okay? It's because of this. You see this item, it's not item.id. Here for now, I was using podcast name. And now for the image, I want to style this image. Just to make it simple, we're gonna just use a flex one and border radius 10. So now I can style this image, and I want this image to take the full space available from his box. So now you get here, you search for Joe Rogan example, boom, and you get all your element. Now we have some design to fix. One of the first element, it's this Title here, I don't want that to have multiple lines. So for the podcast name here, you can say number of line to be 1. So now you see it's just 1 line. And now the thing is why you get further, it's because we need to make sure that the box here have a flex of 1. By doing a flex of 1, we just say, hey, take the full space, don't go further, don't go smaller. Perfect. Now the other issue, it's the flat list don't know about the tab bar at the bottom. So the way you can work with that, it's inside the flat list. I'm gonna say here list content container. Here I'm gonna start already to put just a min height of 100, and I'm gonna put for the flat list to have a padding bottom, and I think I put a size. You see, I put a size of 80. I want to make sure that I have 1. And now here I'm gonna remove that, and I'm gonna use the content container, and here that's gonna be the list content container, because I don't need this list min height. That's gonna be on the element himself. Now by doing this, you see, at least I get a bit more space, so we are able to see everything. Now, one thing I want to do, it's my list here. So I'm gonna restart. You see now I have nothing. I want to show something, because right now it looks like nothing is there. So the way we're gonna work with that, it's gonna be by creating just by using the empty stuff. And then what I mean by empty stuff, it's here you have list empty component. So finally, when it's empty, you have access to this list empty element, and you can put something here. So I'm gonna say F1 for flex 1, center for justify an item center. I'm gonna say text color, I'm gonna put gray, and I'm gonna say no podcast, please search something. And now by doing this, we get that right in the middle. That's perfect. This is what we want. After that, what I want to do, it's showing like a loading spinner. And the way you can make it work, and the way finally I'm using it, it's you make use of the list header, okay? So you use the list header, it's almost the same thing. But the only difference, I'm gonna use a React fragment here. The only difference, it's here, for the list header, I want to put F1, center, and I'm gonna put the activity integrator from React Native, size large, color, we're gonna use the blue light we use. Now you see it's right there, okay? First, I'm gonna make it a bit better, so I'm gonna put a height. And the way that make it gonna work, it's I just want him to be show if this is loading. So you see, I have nothing. I search for Joe Rogan, I click enter, boom. And now I want to do the same here. So I'm gonna put that, and I'm gonna just make sure that this one is not show, is show only if it's not loading. Okay, so now if we search again, Joe Rogan, boom. So we have a loading spinner, and we have that. So the header is supposed to be a header, but you can fake it like that, something like this, and yeah. After that, I forgot to do something from my search query. Something we're gonna need. Oh, it's the feed URL, we have it. So I'm gonna use the feed URL here, and then the podcast name, just to make sure that it's always gonna be unique. After that, here for the error, I'm gonna do ternary operator. So if we have an error, I want to show right there, inside a box, a text. So the box is gonna take flex 1 center. The text is gonna be color red, and I'm gonna put here the error that message. Else, this is where I'm gonna wrap the flat list. Okay. So looks like we are pretty good with that. Now it's time to just break down some component, because right now I don't like it. So the way we can make it work first, it's here, the list empty I can create a component with that, and I'm gonna call that empty search empty. So now we get this component. This component is right there. I don't like the like this. Perfect. Now this one, I'm gonna move it to his file. And I'm gonna move it to a file called searchempty.tsx. And I want it to be default, like that. And now I just need to replace it like that. Sorry if this is hard here to follow. I don't want to lose too much time. It's just a copy and paste if you want. For me, it's a bit more simpler. For the render item, I can do the same. So here I can convert that to a component. It's going to be a functional component, and that's going to be a search till while I push the item. Here my search till, what I'm going to do, it's again, I just want to make sure I always do the same thing, so like that. And for the props, I'm gonna get that from react.fc for functional component. You do this like that. And now finally, I want to move this to a file called search_tile.tsx, like this. After that, this search tile is going to be exported by default. Search tile. Now the issue, the error was about the style sheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy that. So it's because of the image here. So you do const s equals style sheet.create emg. I think it's like that. Perfect. Now if we go back there, the search tile don't need any more those curly bracket. So now do again, should work again. After that here, you can break that. I don't think I'm gonna break that down. You can do this if you want. I think we are good to go to jump on the next part. Was pretty simple, and you see if I search, for example, full stack radio, if I search and I click enter, we get there. So this isn't something that we need to fix. It's, you see, it's one sec, I need to check something. If I search for full stack radio, okay, so here we have an issue. So we have too much scroll. So first thing, I'm gonna delete that. I don't need this, and I think the issue is that. Okay, now it's fixed. Okay, so I think we should be good now. So now if I search for Joe Rogan after that, it's pretty fast. Perfect. So if you didn't follow what was happening here, it's when I didn't move, that create inside the folder search those two components. So we have the search empty, so we have the search tile. Again, this thing, I think I like more to have that is inside an interface props, like that. And now you can do props. After that, just because I think it's gonna be cleaner, we can just say here, and you see, look here, you just do the same, it's slower. So search loading tx, I need to import React, const search loading, like that. I'm gonna just make it like I told you, I like that below, and now I can search loading, No, I think it's cleaner, yeah. I can remove that. Yeah, so it was pretty simple. In the next video, my plan is to create the podcast detail page. So when you're gonna click here, I'm gonna be able to, after that, fetch all the stuff from Joe Rogan, so all his episodes and stuff like that. And after that, we're gonna want to start to be able to play an audio. That's gonna be the hardest part in this tutorial. Audio and downloading the MP3 file. So I hope you enjoy. Again, the code's gonna be in the repo, and the name is part 3. Don't worry, I'm gonna put that in the description. And if you enjoy, click the like button. Also, if you didn't, please subscribe. It means a lot for me. So, and that's it. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.